This is the new shrink ray from Ratchet and Clank for PlayStation Portable, and we're gonna shrink our friend Larry so he can sneak into the girls' tent while they're changing.
Wow. Dude, run. Is that an owl?
Yeah.
The Shrink Ray. All new weapons, all new levels. Ratchet and Clank size matters. Rated everyone 10 and up. PSP.
Poop is ranked higher than Shane?
Poop. 999,000.
Virtua Fighter tournament. I'm so excited, guys.
I'm excited.
Hells yeah.
My money's on Poop.
Poop? Poop's fighting?
Poop.
Yep, Poop
The
is
odds
fighting.
are in Poop's favor.
Let's see. Who am I fighting?
Jason.
I'm gonna beat Jason.
He's off the virtual fight thing because he's playing Soul Calibur, so.
I can beat Jason. God, I'm so excited. Virtua Fighter.
Go Poop.
Yeah.
Poop.
Poop.
I'll get an easy one, so I will fight.
That's about right.
I'll fight Minnie. Yeah, he's ranked 1,000,000. That works.
Yeah.
Whoa, we can't have Shane and Milky fighting in the very first round.
Why not?
No, because we've got to build up dramatic tension, you know.
But
Come on, guys, work with me here. Let's put Shane against Minnie in the first round.
okay, that sounds fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay?
She's getting pretty good at PPK.
Can't play against Shane.
Shit! The Sega Sticks got recalled.
I don't wanna go to work today. Wanna stay home and play all my video games on the One Up Show. You know you'll be a star on the One Up Show. You already are. Every day, this life's a holiday. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show.
Matt, hey. God of War review is up.
What the hell? Dude, the game hasn't come out for a month.
We always wait. What do you mean we're not gonna wait?
Yeah,
Every other game we wait for.
We read tons of games early. We don't just throw up a review. You can't just, oh, I like this game. It's a 9.5. I'm gonna throw it up on the web. Everyone's gonna see it.
Well, according to Sony, they want to drum up some buzz for the game early. They may also not want to overshadow some stuff that's happening early March, but we don't know so much about that.
Why do you aid me now?
What I do now, I do for the good of all Olympus.
You gave it a 9.5. Excellent score. And Michael and I are reviewing it as well now for EGM. And we can't tell our scores. You have to read the issue for that. But why'd you go for 9.5?
My only reason that it's slightly lower than I scored the original game is basically because the core feels very similar. Like, playing through the experience, it doesn't feel completely different to me. It just feels like a lot of great new things that I'm doing on top of the original technically.
Yeah, I'll admit, like, when I started playing, it felt a lot like the first. Like, right at the beginning, maybe the first hour, I'm like,
The first 10 minutes are the first. You're literally continuing the same stuff you've got.
But, like, you know, all the moves are the same, all the buttons are the same. Like, you can jump right in and feel like you're playing the same game. But I'll admit, then it takes off, and, like, it goes on this epic journey. And, like, what impressed me the most was just the scale of all the characters you meet, you know, like Titans and like Atlas and all these guys where you're just like, oh my god, and like you're just jaws dropping everywhere. The graphics, I mean, how amazing does this game look? You know, like it sucking every bit of power out of the PS2 and making you just like, I've had trouble going back to like PS2 games ever since the next gen hit, and this time I didn't mind. You know, I was just constantly like just on.
cool is that the bosses in this game, I mean, all the complaints in the first game were, oh, there weren't enough bosses. You fight that cool, like, fire minotaur thing, where the hell that thing was, and that was really cool, and, like, the first Hydra boss was really cool, but the rest of the game's kind of like, you didn't really fight that many bosses. In this game, they, like, packed it with bosses.
Whole thing with the game is that the best parts of it are what kind of spoils the experience. The best parts of it aren't like the bullet points you put on the back of the box. It's the stuff you come across in the story.
Yeah, I think even us talking about it, like, it won't even prepare you for what, when you actually get to that point, you'll still be blown away. I will say, like, none of the fights really piss me off. Like, some were just like, what am I supposed to do here? But you figure it out.
Yeah.
So what difficulty did you play it on?
Normal, the regular difficulty. Did you play on like the hard one?
Right now, at this point, I'm like halfway through Titan mode.
Okay.
And it's
let me guess, it's hard.
It's hard, well, but it's kind of like, I wrote this in a review actually, it's kind of more manageable, just kind of like God mode was in the original God of War, than like a Devil May Cry or something like that, because yeah, each individual scene is really hard, but then, you know, there's all the puzzle and adventure stuff in the middle that is the same, so you can get through it, you know, without spending your whole life on it.
Right. What do you think of the puzzles? Like, there's a bunch of them. Seems like each section you have something you have to figure out to open a door or, you know, clear a section. Did they compare well to the first one, or not as good, or what?
Say overall they're probably like slightly less impressive than the first game, but it didn't bother me at all. I mean, there was still some good stuff in there, and it all kind of fit pretty well with what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I like how they weren't frustrating. Like, there were some where I had to stop and think, you know, and it took like a couple of tries, and I would get maybe a little mad. I know you were stuck for an hour on the easiest puzzle in the game.
I was.
You called me up.
I was stuck on a really dumb puzzle. I'll admit.
What puzzle?
So the puzzle, it's not even so much of a puzzle as like you put two rocks on top of each other to jump on a ledge. But at the time, like, my logic, my video game logic button was not on or something, because I'm like looking at this, I'm like, there's two rocks. I'm like, why would they give me two rocks? I'm like, I couldn't understand it. And then when I finally figured it out, I'm like, I am a fucking idiot. I am so dumb I could not figure out this puzzle.
So the grappling,
I love the grappling.
It kind of expanded, like, it kind of made it feel like the levels are more open and like swinging.
Yeah,
and
I mean, it's just like you have these blades on ropes. It's
Right.
the most natural thing ever, just
It
to like
is.
hook them into the walls and throw yourself around. It'd be cool, I think, if you could use it in more situations than just where the game deems, hey,
Right,
here's this
right.
puzzle, or here's this gap that you have to get across. It'd be great if, like, okay, there's just a room of enemies and there's a grappling hook up there, like where that sprinkler is, and I could just grab that and swing around and like attack while I'm on it and stuff like that.
That'd be awesome.
I can guarantee that's what they're thinking for the next game.
Yeah.
because
Just tell.
every time it's there, like, it's a glowing point. Like, you
Yeah.
when you see that flashing point, you're like, all right, you know you're gonna be using it, you know, either after this battle or getting to the next point. Yeah, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
it's built in there as part of the level.
But what's cool
But
about the Rage of the Titans is it fills up so quick that you don't have to feel like bad about using it, because a lot of those, like,
You
you know,
don't, have to,
super
you don't have to save it for the mini boss or the boss coming
yeah,
up.
like, because there's a lot of times when you'll just fight like a lot of dudes in a row, and you can just like mangle them, and your meter will go up so quick. So it's like, oh, that's cool. You know, I can use this all the time. I don't have to worry about, you know, like finding orbs to like recharge it. You know.
Now, which one do you think was better, God of War 1 or 2? Which one did you enjoy more?
Ooh.
I know it's not even fair, because like, we haven't had time to really digest this game
I
yet.
think it is fair, and I'll tell you why. Because the core is so similar, I mean, obviously there are a few improvements like the grappling hook and stuff like that.
Right.
But because the core is so similar, you can basically say, okay, I like the story in number 1 better, or I like the story in number 2 better. I personally like the story in number 1 a little bit better. But I think that's like the key as to where you can say, okay, this is where they're really different.
Yeah, I personally like the first one a little bit better, just because at the time that I played it, I was like, I haven't played anything like it, and it was so cool. So to play the second one, it was still fun. I mean, I enjoyed the hell out of it, but I didn't get that kind of like saying like, oh my god, this is so awesome feeling. So,
You know, okay, so the first one had that wonder, like this whole new experience. It was awesome. But 2, you know, with a lot more bosses, you know, and like this is an epic game, like you're fighting gods and titans and stuff, and I think this does a much better job doing that. And you know, playing through it, I was just, you know, constantly more and more amazed than I was in the first one, which I loved as well. You know, I mean, they're neck and neck, really.
But what I will say is that after finishing the game, it made me so excited for the PS3 version. That by the end of the game, I'm like, holy shit, I cannot wait.
It does a great job of both actually completing itself and giving you a complete
satisfying ending, yeah.
And yet still saying, okay, this is just
Because I was a
kicking
little
off.
worried, like playing the game. I was like, man, I mean, this story is really good. It kind of like makes a lot of sense that if everything concludes at the end of this game, like what the hell are they gonna do for God of War 3? And so I was very happy that there's like still a whole lot of shit you can do in the sequel or in the PS3 sequel. So.
Matt is the God of War. He's our special guest reviewer for EGM this month.
This
So,
is my throne.
as we can tell, he knows a lot about this game.
Yes.
Were there any games that you played before, like really getting deep into God of War 2 that you took inspiration from?
Nintendogs was absolutely one of them. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's Sweet 16.
goes without
The Barbie horse one also.
Okay,
but
okay.
I mean, who doesn't get inspired
There are
by
horses
that
in God of
game?
War 2.
Yeah, and now we know why. We set out to top what we did in the first game. It's the same team that made the first game. And we all feel that we've made a game that is better than the first, and we have enhanced everything we could.
You told David that? You're like, my game's better than your games?
Punk him. Come on, David, what's up? Dave and I's experiences were different because he was creating the franchise. He has experience, he had done it before. My experience was hard because I'd never done it before. I mean, I came up from the ranks of everybody else, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I worked alongside everybody making the animation, doing the combat for this game, the first game, and you know, so at the end, I don't think everybody hates me. I hope they don't hate me, but it was hard. It was hard on everybody.
And now you're kind of the God of War guy now, right?
Yeah.
Like so the franchise is yours. You have another one in you. Like,
I have a lot more in me. I don't want to stop doing this for a long time. So yeah, if it's received well, if everybody likes this game, God of War 2, and they're into it, and Sony says let's do a third one, I'm into it. I've already started writing a story.
So even having worked like so hard on these last two games, I mean, what's it been the last 4 years of your life?
Yeah,
maybe?
4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
In there. I don't anticipate having a life or a family anytime soon. So so I got a lot left in me. You know?
God of War fans know that we have you. You're just like,
Yeah.
you're gonna be making
right.
these,
I'm their
slaving
bitch.
away. Like, you know,
What do you look back at now? What did you look back at now and be like, we got to do that better for God of War 2. Here's what we're going to do that better.
I wanted you to be on these massive set pieces to really set the tone for the whole game, but to have it be seamless. Like, you know, you're just walking around, you're like, holy cow. I mean, have you ever seen the screenshots of the horses, the Steeds of Time,
Right.
that had kind of circulated around early on? Those are these massive set pieces that you're all around, and they actually have a tie-in to the story and the mechanics and kind of the puzzle of the entire level. So we wanted more of that. We wanted more of the epic nature of the game to be taking place in the game,
Right.
and not just in the cinematics.
Iwata spoke at last GDC a lot about like, hey, we want your kind of crazy, cool little ideas. So far, the Virtual Console has been really like the legacy games. Yeah. So when do you think we might start to see some of the more experimental, original indie games?
You know, soon, not too long from now. We're just coordinating all that with our parent company in Japan. And we actually have a fair number of them in our possession, taking a look at them. Some really just amazingly creative stuff.
Some skeptics now have moved into, okay, the Wii is very popular.
No,
obviously.
let me ask the question for you.
All
Is
right.
it a fad? No, it's not a fad. Go on the internet and look at what's happening virally. People on their own initiative. How to do a Wii party, make a Mii parade, how to lose weight playing Wii. Just the number of people who are enthusiastic about the product as part of it entering their lifestyle. I think that's going to last for a long time.
So I don't know how familiar I am with Shane and I's back and forth, but like Shane is a little bit more of a defender of the Sony realm, and I'm a little bit more of an aggressor.
Can we throw you in the pool at the end?
No, I don't have a spare set of clothes.
We could buy you a spare set of clothes. It would be worth it for that.
terms of catching up with Microsoft, and Microsoft's Xbox Live service is still ahead of the PlayStation Network, and the PlayStation Network is only a few months old. Can you guys catch up with what Microsoft's doing in the space, or is there a point where it's like, okay, because they're paying for this, because it is generating some revenue for them, there are things we just will not be able to offer going forward?
I believe that the PlayStation Network over time is going to more than exceed our customers' expectations. Now, are we where I want us to be today? No, absolutely not. But that's the great thing about the PlayStation 3 is it's a living, breathing console. It's going to continue to evolve. And as you correctly point out, we're doing this free of charge for our users. And we think that they will respond very positively to that.
Are you guys considering revising the PSP, revamping it to make it cheaper, smaller, bigger screen?
We have no plans to announce anything, but I would say that if you look at our history, PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, we've made a number of revisions to our hardware platforms over time. So, you know, who knows, but we have no plans at this time.
You're going to be keynoting at GDC next month. That's what I read. So how many announcements are you going to make? 5?
More than one.
Less than 10?
More than one.
Fine.
So tell us something that you can tell us about Halo 3.
Halo 3 is gonna be big.
Press X to activate shield generator.
Could be what, sprint?
Duck and cover.
Could be chainsaw.
What Sony's been talking up is they're having these big developers and big name people experimenting and just putting something out, smaller projects and stuff like that. Will we start to see those from any of the big Microsoft partners?
If you look at the internal studios and what they're focused on, most of them have some pretty big projects under works right now. So for them to think about distracting themselves, most of them at this point are pretty focused on the delivery at hand. But if Peter Molyneux came to us and said, hey, I have this great idea, maybe this kind of populist-like
Peter
game.
Molyneux have a great idea that's going to change the world.
You're going to feel love in Fable 2.
This is going to be the greatest Xbox Live arcade game ever.
Right at the beginning, we said, okay, nobody has done a good Dragon game, right? Let's break the Dragon game curse. And then somebody said, wait, there was Panzer Dragoon.
What more can you tell us about the rest of Lair?
In terms of environments, we've got gorgeous sunsets over cities. We've got desert environments. We've got huge bosses within those desert environments. We've got icy regions. Pretty much everything you could imagine.
Do you have any plans for downloadable content? Maybe new dragon armor, or a hat for your dragon, perhaps?
Yeah, no, it's actually
Star Wars suit for your dragon.
Or a Hoth level.
Level.
Absolutely,
Now
Hoth
we're
level.
talking.
Now we're talking. Actually, you will be surprised if you see what we've got in the game.
When can we look forward to playing Lair?
Pretty soon, very, very soon, because again, as I said, we're at about 90% of development right now, so we're optimizing, we're tweaking the finer details and everything, so right about now would be a good time.
Do you think there is any possibility of a demo?
We're talking about it. I'd love to release a demo, yeah.
Like we finished the game and I went down to the gym and I was like fucking being able to do a few pull-ups finally. Heather Chapman was like, you using roids? I'm like, yeah, that's why I have so much range. My kidneys are just gonna shrink up and fall out my ass.
Your balls too. We talked to Phil Spencer from Microsoft Game Studios yesterday, and we were talking a little bit about the matchmaking system and how they're hoping to allow games in the future, all first-party games, to support that sort of matchmaking code. And in the case of Gears, which is something that I've harped and sent furious emails to you about, it's not in the game. He said it was like you could either do co-op or matchmaking when you're like looking at the time frame. Was this just an example he was using, or was it like a design choice where you guys were like, we can only get one of these two things in, and co-op is so integral to the Gears gameplay?
Co-op is one of those things that was on the original slide deck when I did the Greenlight presentation at Microsoft. We knew that we wanted to ship a great single player, a great co-op game, and then have a cool multiplayer on top of that. Okay, so maybe there's a couple extra little features in there that didn't make it in as far as a party system and whatnot, but that's one of those things that gives us a clear roadmap for the future.
Are you overseeing Gears of War on PC?
We haven't really confirmed anything about any PC plans. I see what you did there.
So you've got to be getting your creativity out somewhere. What are you working on?
I can't say what I'm working on.
Is this going to be like one of those situations?
I paint.
Is this going to be one of those?
I'm doing like my own Jackson Pollock, and I use elephant feces at home. That's what I'm doing to get my creative juices out.
This is going to be one of those things where it's like when Bungie finished Halo 2, and they're like, all right, cool, we're doing something else. We're not working on what you think you are. But like the reality is like, the game's sold over 3 million copies. Like, it's a sequel would seem like an inevitability. It's just a matter of when it's going to be announced.
It's what I'm working on right now is going to be very cool.
What's up, Shane? You ready for the tourney?
Yeah, I guess so. I did play this weekend some.
Okay.
Fought Ryan.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, that's good. That's good. So what if we didn't have the sticks? Sega issued a recall.
Well, I really wanted the sticks. I've been playing my whole life, like 15 years on sticks. This is the first VF I've ever even played on a pad. I mean, if I want to fight Milky, I'd really rather have a stick, but whatever. I mean, I guess it's all you have.
Yeah, it might be all we have.
But for the real serious fight, that'll happen after we get the sticks. I mean, I'll do this thing for the show, but the real deal, sticks only.
Alright, well.
I mean, I think Milky will agree with me. I mean, we're both pretty serious about this.
Yeah, you're very, very, very serious. Have you seen Milky?
It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. He'll be in at like 5. So.
Okay.
It's coming out. Oh, Crackdown's coming out soon.
Shane,
what are you doing?
No, I'm thinking about how much you hate Sonic.
How would you know?
I can
We
just
haven't even
tell.
talked about this yet.
I can tell from watching you play that you don't appreciate this game.
Definitely a step forward. It's a lot more fun than Sonic the Hedgehog, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Heroes, all of those. Using the Wii Remote, you're holding it sideways, tilting left and right to move Sonic, jumping with one of the buttons, and shooting forward. And that's all pretty cool.
It's kind of like, it brings back the old Sonic of you're carefully dodging, you're jumping, you're on rails. If you have some choices of where you can go in terms of paths, and there's things that you can grab that are hard out of reach. And it's fun. It's kind of like a roller coaster ride mixed with like the hard platforming stages of Super Mario Sunshine.
I love that part. So how come you beat one of those, and then you have another 10 or 11 stages broken up into stupid requirements?
Like Grand Theft Auto and in focus groups, they're like, I want lots of different types of missions that I can take at my own leisure and go out of order.
Required dumb missions.
Well, most of them are not required, but I will agree with you that once in a while you do get to an impasse where you have to play one of these weird missions that gives you these strange criteria like finish a level without killing an enemy, finish a level without dying, finish a level with no rings. And the difficulty spikes are wild here. Like the ones where you can't die are really, really hard. Like, little kids are not going to be able to do these levels unless they're like savants. But I mean, I was able to get through these levels. I haven't found a level yet that I can't pass. I mean, they're really hard, and they do challenge my platforming skills like hardcore. You almost have to perfectly play through these stages. But that doesn't make the game bad. It makes it unevenly difficult. But
they just aren't enjoyable. Like those head-to-head races, that's pure rote memorization. They take a section of the bigger level, and it's like maybe like the first third of it or the second third of it. End with no coins is kind of stupidly easy because you just save a coin until the end and get hit. Don't get hit by
The ones where you're
enemies.
supposed to kill lots of enemies are actually pretty fun. They're usually laid out in a way where you can do it all at once. You can kill like 20 enemies in a row in a combo, and it's really fun. Those stages, for the most part, are optional. Like
No, they aren't. Like you have to beat like maybe like half of them.
There's maybe 10 challenges, and you have to do 4. And then like some of them you don't open up until way later. Like there are bosses that you don't actually fight the boss of that world until like 2 or 3 worlds later.
But here's the thing. That constitutes a bigger portion of the game than just the regular levels, which are the best part. So why fill up with the bad parts, why we quite.
If this game only had those 8 regular worlds, would you like it more instead of having like 5 times the content?
What I've liked them to do was spend more time making, let's say, maybe 3 more levels instead of any of that crap, and like one solid adventure. We just making constant progress, not like going backwards for no real reason, doing stupid tasks that aren't fun.
Some of them are fun. They're not stupid. And it's giving you this more open-ended thing. And at the same time, you're also getting all these experience points and skills and building up Sonic's abilities. It's a lot deeper than you'd expect. Like much like Mario Sunshine, if something's hard and suddenly people like rebel, like I don't like this game. It's not what I expected. It's not a cakewalk like every other game.
No, I really like Mario Sunshine. This just isn't fun. Like none of those levels, I was like, oh, I hope I'm doing a head-to-head challenge. I hope I'm doing like a stealth challenge. Like none of them like I wanted to do. I was waiting for the next open level.
I think the regular levels are most fun. However, sometimes those other missions would surprise me by being fun and well designed, and I would actually be like, "Wow, I'm glad I did that level."
But like more than 50% of the game shouldn't surprise you by occasionally being fun. That's not the purpose of the game. It should entertain you relatively consistently throughout. I mean, shouldn't that be what it is?
I find most of those other missions more entertaining than you then, and I think the boss battles are fantastic. Among the best boss battles Sonic's ever had. They're very Zelda. Like they really like expanded the scope of these boss battles so you do different things. Like this is the first from the ground up Wii game. It actually looks good. It looks, I think it looks almost as good as like Resident Evil 4. I mean, like it doesn't look as good as like a PS3 or 360 game, but it looks as good as the best GameCube games.
Right, it's the right type of graphics for the system where they can look really good, really bright, really colorful, really cartoony. And it really fits the theme well.
Right, and well, and the theme actually helps. It has this like Arabian Nights theme, and that kind of helps give the game some context. It makes it feel different than the bad one that just came out. Like it also made me compare it to Mario Sunshine because it has a central theme.
We'll get him in no time. About to come crumbling down.
I really don't like Sonic's American voice. And Tails, and
you know, like that wasn't really up. I think either of our alleys.
We have to discuss the music. Like the music is so awful that I actually love it. Huge. Every stage has singing and different genres. Sometimes it sounds like Winger, sometimes it sounds like Alice in Chains, sometimes it sounds like everybody go on the floor and do the dinosaur. It's terrible, terrible music.
And yet, like, I enjoyed it because it was so bad. I'm like, yeah, all right, let's rock again. I'll be just saying, I'm like, yeah, let's go, Sonic.
It goes over the edge from terrible to great. The multiplayer,
which is kind of like Mario Party Lite, which you have like you can have 4 players and they jump onto some sort of board, whether it's a board game or whether it's like a race where but basically every round you play a mini game. Then the games are mostly missed. Like there's some kind of unique.
There's a few clever ones. I like. There's one where you play a violin. I like.
Violin.
There's a few other shooting ones that are all right.
Then there's stupid ones like the rowboat where like you're trying to do this motion like you can't turn. Like
4 different variations on the canoeing game. They're all bad.
We won't worry about that.
A lot of things are things you might have already seen in the other minigame collections on Wii, or things that Mario Party will probably do a lot better. And also the graphics and sound in this part look completely different than the rest of the game. It's almost like a different team did them. And they don't gel with the rest of what you're playing at all.
It's a game that I had looked up forward to since I played it last E3, and they did one of the regular stages. It was a lot of fun, you know, like it had some good play mechanics, and I was really looking forward to it. And like I built it up, and I think maybe in the magazine when I wrote it up, sometimes I built it up as well, saying this is probably a great Wii game, original Wii game, and it didn't live up to that hype. Like, and maybe that's partially my doing, but like I was really looking forward to this as one of the first great Wii games. And I'm definitely disappointed.
It's more of a real game than I expected. There's rewards, like playing it and learning it and getting the feel for it. And like having played it now for a few days, I'm much better at it than I was when I started. And I can do these hard stages, and there's a real sense of accomplishment. I think Sega took a lot of risks with this gameplay. Like Nintendo hasn't even done a game like this yet. Nintendo hasn't even shown us like a serious platformer game. All we've had is mini games and ports. It's a real game. I think they put themselves out there. It's not a complete success, but I think it's worth playing.
It's the best 3D Sonic I've played. I didn't play the Dreamcast one, so I mean, that might have been better. But this is the best one I've played. Yeah, so the best one in like 7 years or so. And that's great, and it's fun, but it's not like it's a crazy success like we hoped it would be.
It's not going to like set the standard that Mario Galaxy will never be able to beat. But I think it's a great first step, and it's much better than what you've seen on 360 and PS3 from Sony.
Yeah, it didn't redefine like Lara Croft did last year, you know, like where that revitalized the
But
series.
I think he's back on the comeback trail.
Ryan, what's up?
Where's the tournament?
Well, actually, we're not doing the tournament today anymore. We had to push it back.
Why?
All of us here ordered the Sega sticks, so none of us got them. So we've been forced to play with controllers, which is fine with me. But like Shane was really concerned about playing on a controller. The nail in the coffin was that Milky's out sick today because he's got food poisoning. So with no Milky, there was no tournament.
Well, we brought sticks here.
Oh man, you guys are like my savior. Nice. This is the exact thing we need. Has it been good since you finally got your sticks in? Is everything
It's
much
so much
better?
better than playing on pads. It's not funny.
Much better.
Have you had any of the, like when I've been playing, I've had like my controller drop out because of whatever that interference thing is.
Yeah.
Like it happens like probably once an hour.
Wire is the way to go.
For sure. When it comes to fighting games.
Next gen is all about the wires.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You asshole. He's already getting extremely good at that. I mean, he barely just started playing her.
So, you know, I didn't start playing VF until VF4 really. I don't know why. The jumping always seemed really strange to me and floating in the older versions of the game. And aside from feeling faster and being prettier and, of course, it having 2 new characters, I don't know. I can't tell what's changed that much from the last game. And I think that it would be easy for people to look at this game and be like, oh, it just looks like VF4 with pretty graphics. Is this the best version of Virtua Fighter that's ever come out?
I think so. They changed a lot of the frames and stuff.
Mhm.
So whereas before you had to rely on a lot of technical dexterity to do a lot of the defensive maneuvers,
Mhm.
but now you can kind of play it a little bit more by feeling.
Right.
Because this game has more emphasis on distancing and poking and stuff instead of like really forcing you to make certain choices in a split second.
There's a lot of different basic system changes that are kind of, if you just play punch, 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 kick and you don't get into the subtleties, it's a little difficult to see just looking at it. But once you start playing like with the offensive move, positioning and getting people onto the wall, getting the wall splash where they splat against the wall and then getting a combo off of that, it adds a lot of depth and a lot of risk. The new throwing system allows you to throw someone in a split second, basically.
Right.
It rewards a lot of mind games, and like getting people to freeze up allows you to get quick rewards by throwing.
I have never felt like I was that good at Virtua Fighter, and I still don't feel like I'm that good at Virtua Fighter. But yesterday, when I finally was like able to really rely on the offensive move, and at that point it felt good, and I felt like I knew what I was doing. And I think it is those systems, like those new systems, that really do make it appeal to me more as a fighting game fan, I guess.
Yeah, there's more freedom in the movement, and that allows like a lot more kind of, I guess, stepping,
Yeah.
and that kind of just kind of tricky movement, and you'll see a lot more of that in high level play.
And even though we said, yeah, you know, new players is more accessible, but still it offers so much in gameplay that, you know, you'll probably have to spend a lot of time and practice and then read strategy guides, you know, go on the internet and find strategies and things like that. There's so much depth to it that you'll most likely never stop learning and never stop having fun playing this game.
I don't have that much time in a day to learn the one character that I want to play. I can't imagine learning them all, but it would be so exciting to be able to do that, just because it's so much fun, you know. And you know that you're never going to be as good as you could be unless you know all the characters, because you can't defend against anyone unless you know what they're doing. So.
Definitely.
The throw failed. Staggered. Rising kick. Attacking move.
So Ryan, what do you think about the training mode?
It's good, but no training mode in a fighting game has been perfect yet. Well, first of all, I don't like the fact that you can't watch how every move is done. You can only see examples of certain moves. I think that's frustrating. There's something about like when I want to sit and practice a couple moves all at the same time. The fact that free training and command training are separated into their own categories seems strange to me. I think that you should be able to like go into a command list and highlight like 3 or 4 moves and make your like kind of like a training playlist, and then be able to just practice on those few things that you want to do.
The thing that I kind of didn't like about this home port is they really cut out a lot of the features of the arcade version. You know, for example, like bringing your customized profiles to your friend's house, you know.
I hate that.
Yeah, and then like having a tournament mode, you know, I can't understand why that's missing, you know, for a competitive fighting game. And stuff like, you know, no online supports, no updatable items. These are all things that Japanese players have, you know, in the arcade version. You know, I really wish that Sega can somehow replicate these experiences for us American gamers who doesn't have access to arcades at all.
Really, what I would have loved to see is something like you have a tournament, you can upload your replays on some kind of network, show people, you know, awesome matches, you know, go on VFTV and say, all right, I want to look at these matches most viewed. I mean, that's the kind of thing that PS3, Xbox 360 should offer. If Sega and, you know, AM2 want to really seriously appeal or, you know, give the American market a real shot, then you need to think about, you know, our needs. We don't have this game in arcades. We don't even have arcades. So what can they do to help us really get a community going? And, you know, we can only do. I mean, we're trying to do the community. I mean, you know,
through
VFDC, and we try to connect people. And I think we're getting a ton more interest now that the game is almost out. But, you know, it's still very difficult to get people excited when a game is not online.
Like, I understand why they don't want to do online play. Yeah, that makes sense, but I still like leaderboards.
That's the kind of thing that should be integrated from day one. And
like
it's,
when we look at stuff, like that should totally be there. What's the point of customizing your character in quest mode if you can't get it? All their items, all their costumes, they look really good.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating that you can't, you know,
it is really
move them over
that's
to your
one
friends.
of the part that makes the game so much fun. You know, the customization, showing off your achievements, kind of.
Yeah, it's showing, like, having a little PR message, like, you know, whatever you want to say, like intimidating the person.
I love that.
That's it's all part of the experience. It is kind of depressing.
It's depressing, but at the same time, like, you know, who knows? Maybe they'll change the 360 version and make it better. Who knows? Maybe Microsoft will get under their skin. The word is on the internets that this game isn't selling too well in Japan.
For a fighting game to sell as much as, you know, launch games, you know, the best-selling launch games, I think Virtua Fighter still is doing decently well.
In Japan, if you want to play this game competitively with people who are good, you could just walk down the street, go to an arcade, play. It's a pretty bare-bones sport.
Yeah.
So people in Japan don't have so much incentive to run out and buy this when they can just find competition in their local arcade.
Fighting games are never as good as when you've got all your friends together and you're playing. You know what I mean? I wanted so badly to learn to play VF because I'd heard how good it was, but unless you have competition,
when you have a gathering with a lot of people, it's just such a rush that when you win and like, okay, I can stay on the machine and stuff, and then when like you pull off just really amazing stuff on the screen, then everyone gets excited and stuff. You really like. Back in the old days with the arcades and stuff, you get that feeling.
Yeah,
exactly.
This is one of the few games where it can really reproduce that, rush. As long as you have people that you can play with.
How often do you guys play?
Almost every week.
Yeah, lately every weekend.
Every weekend.
Now Jin's El Blaze is a little bit of a pain in the ass to fight. So.
I believe it.
he just likes to mess around.
Backbreaker.
Oh shit.